Well, good afternoon. I just thought I would take us down a little trip. We're not going to go too far. Just a little trip down memory lane of season 6 into season 7.
Okay, here's our outfits, guys.
Hi, welcome back to Amani's Vibe. My name is Amani, and I'm so glad that you're joining me because I have another think piece, and it's because I spend a lot of time thinking. Like, I do all these posts, but I really try to understand what I'm posting, why, who's in the post, okay? And I've already seen some things where it's like people they're calling the model Alexander Wang, and like that's not who the model is in that picture with Olandria. So I just thought it was funny. And I'm also already seeing some comments. People are saying, he's holding Alondria's hand too tight, and I don't know about Nick. And so that's the behavior that is known as parasocial, because Nick has been a model for a very long time. He's modeled all over the world with many, many beautiful women, including his ex girlfriend, who was a beautiful woman. Olandria is now in the world of fashion, and she is going to be modeling with men, and they are not going to be Nick, because if we recall Nick, he's over that life. Like, he's doing the things that he wants to do, and I'm sure he's going to model with Olandria, like when things shoots and things come up together that he's excited about doing with her. But Olandria is really entering the world of fashion and modeling that Nick has kind of left behind, unless he's doing something with her. So I hope that people have been listening to, the things that Nick says when he's talking, when he's in interviews, what he's interested in doing. And of course, he's interested in doing 101 things. He says that he never wants to say no. He doesn't want to miss any opportunities. So he's going to say yes to everything. And it is my hope in watching the two of them that Alondria will help to balance that out, just as he helps to balance out Alondria's kind of serious side. And you see that is why they work well together. I also have a post on my channel of Taylor and Bergie, who have been in a 2-year long distance relationship. They post about it. There's interviews on them about it. They're an awesome couple. And because Bergie went to school to be a physiotherapist, and Taylor, she has her own dreams and aspirations, and they have just worked well together as a couple, and they are doing great. They're still in love, and they met on Love Island, USA. So it is possible, even long distance, with great communication, And in each of these couples, you'll see that there's always one person that's way more outgoing. Hannah and Marco. Marco, way more outgoing. Hannah, a bit more chilled, Taylor and Bergie, they kind of have similar personalities in different ways and very similar interests. And that's one of the things that really brought them together. And I love watching their journey as well. And so now we're at the beginning of seeing Nick and Olandria together. And it's so interesting. I know on my end, I found that, even though they both spoke in an interview earlier in the season about their relationship and being partners and what they were doing and what they were dealing with, I don't know that people heard that interview. And I think it's because at that time, there's just so much discourse going on. And I did post a clip from that interview, and I always post a link to interviews on my channel. So it is one that you can go back and listen to. But what stood out to me from that was just they really, when they went to Greece, that's really when they had their time to really talk and bond and even start to figure this thing out, who they were, what they were going to do, as they got ready for coming back into everything, dealing with the interviews and the reunion. And so there's a few things I always say, and I talk about it in my reviews. I'm aware of the editing of the show. It always has annoyed me, but how is that going to change? Okay. How can that change? I don't think it's from the fandom bullying the Love Island USA page. As I've told you, I did not go online at all in order to watch season 7, which is probably why I didn't know anything about Nick's mother and Alondria's mother and the Nicolandrians. I knew nothing about it. I'm kind of glad I just watched the show as it happened. I could tell that Nick was really attracted to her and that they both lied when they had the kiss. That was obvious just watching the show. But yeah, when the season ended and I found out about the discourse and all of this stuff, I was like, well, okay. And I didn't go back and watch the show again. Like, I was good. I'm good. I'm good with watching a season once. So now here we are. We're watching the development of the relationship between Nick and Alondria. And I know for me, Olandria was so much more outspoken, and we were seeing kind of the fun side of Nick. And I even think that was a choice. I think that they had a lot of communication. And if you ever see Nick and Olandria in a live, from their very first live to now, Nick is definitely more of a loose cannon and will spill all the things. He can't keep a secret. He will spill the details. He will talk about stuff, and Alondra will be like, okay, now control it, control it. I love their lives, to tell you the truth, because that really shows me what their relationship is like. And it looks like it's a lot of fun and they have such good chemistry. And to me, that's really where I've seen it. I'm not about seeing it in any of their Nyx commercials or the Greens commercials or any of that stuff. I see their chemistry in those lives. I see who they are from that very, very first one where Alondria couldn't stop smiling and Nick couldn't stop smiling. And every time they get on a live together, they're like that. And I love that they both have their distinct personalities and the things that they're interested in. They have different interests, but they definitely come together in a lot of things and sharing commonalities. And I think that's really great. So I think they have such an amazing foundation for a relationship, and the most and the best foundation you can have for any relationship is a friendship, and they have a strong one, and that is so important. I'm telling you. And with all of the other couples, Serena and Cordell, Miguel and Leah, that is also part of their relationships as well. Like, if you see how they're progressing, so that's all good. All right. Now, I heard about the announcement about season 8 already, but I just kind of let it go because I have a life offline and I had other things to do. And I'm also trying to catch y'all up on some of the clips and the edits that I put together so that you guys can enjoy the work that I'm doing, because I actually enjoy making these videos, or vlog vignettes as I call them, or the shorts. I actually love it. But a few things have had me concerned. I'd say this. Nick and Olandria are definitely more open than the average person. Um, and then anybody else that's been on Love Island USA, but also there's never been a fandom like this. The most similar was last season, where there was a fandom like this at the beginning. Some people might not be aware, but yes, there was a lot going on. But the fans seem to really respect the Islanders in public spaces a lot more because Serena and Janae did public appearances, they emceed things, and lots of fans were there. Hundreds of people were there, but they didn't crowd them. It was, and I don't feel that they had security at the time, but there was kind of respect that happened, and I feel like that is very different now. It's very, very like Beyonce and Taylor Swiftish right now with the fans, and Olandria and Nick are very open to it. So in my video that I have where Olandria came out of the Knicks game and there's a guy just yelling and then there's somebody telling him to say it with his chest and he's like, I love you, Olandria. Like, I know these things happen for famous people, and Nick and Olandria have new fame and they're going to get it from both sides. Nick's going to get it from all of the girls screaming and attending Greek Fest. I mean, one lady traveled from Germany, y'all. Germany. Okay? And Alondra's going to get it from men in the crowd, and they both seem like they can deal with it. They will understand. They will have security. What I really like about Nick is that he has his boys around him, and Olandria is still close to her good girlfriends, and her team really takes care of her. So all those things are wonderful. So my question really is, season 8 has been announced. How do you feel about season 8? Knowing what has happened each season, and it has happened from season 1 to now with the anti-Black racism, with all of the cruel and divisive comments and things that have been online, with all of the mental health things that Leah Katab went through just from being on the show and dealing with production, with the aftermath of Ace's interview and how the fans are towards Shelley and Olandria, and just how the fans fight against each other on all these posts. Like, honestly, it's not happening here because I just will delete y'all because it's about the dialogue. So when I see all that stuff, I don't know if it's because of my age or what is going on with me, but I know this has happened. This has happened back in the day on MySpace, the chat rooms. I used to be in those in the 90s, and people used to fight and do all kinds of crazy stuff there. I know there's now something called Discourse, which reminds me of what the chat rooms were, but it's audio. I'm not on Twitter at all. And Facebook can even have that same type of thing, all right? So we've seen how the fandom has gotten more and more toxic each season. Even the fans that people love or the fan groups that I love are really, thank you, because this is how I get information and clips. I follow different Islanders. I get information. I'm pretty good at being quick at getting something from a story or something that's posted. I follow so many different people that I will be able to get different angles of the story, but also I am grateful to the same fandom, okay? However, I have noticed the parasocial behavior increasing and things being more intense. And season 6 was really bad. So the fact that season 7 has surpassed that, and that many reviewers are saying that they're not going to review Love Island USA anymore because of the fans, I just think that's something we should think about. I'm thinking about it. Now, I'm a fan of the show. That's it. I love the show. I love posting about certain Islanders. It kind of brings me joy. doing the edits and posting, but as soon as that joy stops, I won't do it anymore. But I really enjoy, like, I'm an old-fashioned romantic, so I'm always there for the love, but I have seen the breakups and then the fans not be able to deal with that. So I'm like, should fans get therapy ahead of time in case there's a breakup? Like, because that can happen. This is what happens in the real world. We've all been in love. I've been in love and was like, this is my forever, and forever lasted 4 months. You know what I'm saying? We've all been there. So, what are we going to do about season 8? I think that's my question. I am not sure that I want to watch Love Island anymore or review it. And that's because of the racism. And I am a woman of African descent. I am from the Caribbean. I consider myself an African Canadian. I know about my roots in Africa. I know about where I'm from Trinidad. I can have an accent, you know. I can code switch, as they call it. And I grew up in a place in Nova Scotia, and I had to deal with a lot of racism, a lot. When we moved to Canada, I have done a lot of work on equity, diversity, inclusion, most of my career as an adult and through my artistry and through my work. So that's already part of my life. So that's why I do find it upsetting when my show, that is supposed to be my mindless escape from everything else, takes that turn where we're seeing such divisiveness. We're seeing anti-Black racism. And I asked this question before. Since the show and the producers and the editing are always not giving justice to our Black queens, okay? Primarily our darker skinned Black queens on the show. And that's been Cache and Zita and Alana and Justine and Serena and Janae and now Olandria, okay? And Asada, okay? Like, this dates back. The show is produced originally from ITV. I wrote a blog about this, and because really you have to look at the industry, right? And I don't think that fans writing on pages can change the industry, because that ingrained systemic bias has been there for a long time. All right. But is it that we, I don't think that bullying the show and writing all over their wall, like, I can't even look at that. It looks so terrible to me, but I keep saying maybe it's because I'm from a different time. I'm older, right? Though I'm in tune with social media and everything, it's not kind of how I express myself, but I do it through creative means. I mean, that's me. Like, I try to do it in a healthy way, right? We all have different ways. And I realize for other people, online is their way of expressing themselves. Like, they're at home and this is where they let it all out. We're all different. I accept that, and I have learned that since the chat room days. All right. I've seen a lot of this stuff. But here's a show that so many people love, where the popularity has grown, and where what has changed is now the Islanders coming off the show are getting incredible, the best agents in the business. Okay. The best. UTA, CAA, Gersh, 3 of the best agents worldwide, and our Islanders belong to those agencies. It is absolutely incredible, and that is not something that happened before. It makes me kind of sad, because I love Alana from season 1, and she is out there working, acting, singing, and doing so much on her own, because she was not afforded these same opportunities where agents just pick this stuff up. Justine has made her way with brand deals and all of those things, but the same type of attention to the show did not happen till season 6. And one of the most interesting things I heard Serena talk about is that one of the reasons they didn't really care how they acted on the show and when she went off on Cordell, because they knew about the show. They'd seen it before. They knew that it didn't have that type of attention. They weren't aware of how big the show was until they got off of the show. And then it was like, oh my goodness. Because they were just like, you know what? We don't care. We just gonna do what we want, talk how we want. Leah was hilarious on the show. She had so many one-liners. Serena lost her mind when Cordell went over there to Casa Amor and went a little cray-cray. So that is one of the reasons, and I didn't know that till I just watched her interview the other day with Quenlin, and it's so good. So really try to watch that. So again, season 8 is coming. Are you gonna watch it? Am I gonna watch it? I'm not sure. Um, the casting, obviously, when Serena and so many of the people that were on the show before, they didn't come on the show like an Ace Green with millions of followers. Serena had maybe a few thousand followers. Justine, Sally, yeah, they were influencers, but not to that amount. Very much like how Maya Papaya was, how she was doing her own page. Maybe people had a couple thousand. Some people even less. That's who used to be on the show. Now they're going after influencers and some regular people like Bergie, Taylor. There were regular people, but not people with millions of followers like Leah. Leah definitely had a high influencer and following before the show. She was probably one of the highest, but that's not how the show was before. They were people with a couple thousand. Um, which is why we're having so many problems, which is what the main problem to me was in season 8, is that either people didn't really watch a show before, or they kind of watched it in season 7 and saw kind of how famous people were, and they're on there for the fame. Let's be real, everybody goes on the show because they're an influencer and they want more of a following and they want brand deals and they want to do more. But also people do also really go on there to find love, or maybe they think they won't, but they're really open to it. And I didn't feel like this season there was a lot of that. I felt like people were so conscious of everything, as opposed to enjoying the actual experience of Love Island. And I don't know how the show brings that back. I don't know how we as an audience can enjoy it the way we used to. I have no idea. So I just wanted to put that out there because they are casting right now. And are the casting agents going to do their due diligence this time? Are they going to make sure that they have different cultures? Like, are we going to have people of African descent? Are we going to have people who are South Asian, East Asian, Muslim? Are we going to have people that are diverse on the show? And are we not going to stereotype them? Are we going to let them have a voice? Those are my questions for the producers and the show, because I would really like to still enjoy the show. At this point, I'm not watching any other shows because I just am not. Married at First Sight isn't showing anymore where I am, and I'm not paying for it on another channel, and that's my show. But I am going to watch it on Daily Motion. And that's kind of it for me in reality TV. Like, I have enough stuff to do in my real life. So what about y'all? Like, how do you feel? How do you feel about season 8 and what you've seen and felt and are still witnessing transpiring from season 6 and season 7? Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. And that's what's up. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and engaging. And you know what we always say, at Amani's Vibe, it's always a vibe. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's what's up.